WSN, Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
It's season 4 of Sports Out of Pocket.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here. That's a W. How many of you want to eat a W tonight?
We bring you the craziest controversies.
What is crazy is like the $4.5 million out of Shohei's pocket is maybe like $100, maybe like $50 to us.
Fire me up.
And I have to go at this Braves offense for not doing a thing in October for the second year in a row.
Twin picks.
A lot of quarterbacks can do that.
So 9 interceptions is getting
Two
a key
straight.
receiver. And interviews you don't want to miss.
This is the Philly Sports Guy, and you're listening to Sports Out of Pocket.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York.
Sports Out of Pocket is back and better than ever.
Let's go!
Howdy ho, Sports Out of Pockers. I'm your host, Hanky the Christmas Pooh. To my right, I'm joined by the party pooper, Andrew Jackson himself. And to my left, I got Mickey from Wish.
I'm not Mickey, bro.
Who are you?
Hey, can we talk about my my slick? I don't usually do the show with my pants down, but look at my slick red Reeboks.
Hey, it's Halloween. You can do whatever you want.
Are we missing somebody?
Yeah, normally there's a big
Steven.
person.
Where's Steven?
Ah,
Steven!
All right, which one of you flat-foot stole my lollipop?
Welcome to the show, Steven, Andrew, and Jackson. We are ready for a scary and terrifying episode of Sports Out of Pocket. This one's gonna be scarier, even scarier than TJ Watt.
kind of interesting to say scary, and then they look at the camera and see this.
And
but
see a Christmas turd, a guy in a toilet, Patrick Star,
And Mickey Wish from
Mickey
from Wish.
Timu Mickey.
Worse than that, I can't even describe what you are because we are on air and I can't say it. But anyways, guys, I'm ready for the scary edition of Sports Out of Pocket. We had some wild stuff go down in sports this past weekend. Me and Andrew's got a banger yet terrifying Sports Out of Pocket. Then, like always, we're going to fire me up. Jackson's going to talk about his A&O team. You can get ready to skip that fantasy segment. But fellas, are you ready to get into the show? I need to hear yell from everybody.
Yeah.
I Wumbo, you Wumbo, me, you, Sports Out of Pocket, we Wumbo.
It's second grade, SpongeBob. Let's get into some controversy.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We in here talking about practice.
It's time for the latest sports controversy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want to know what's terrifying? While the party pooper unzips Patrick Star over here, do you want to know
Didn't hear
what
what
is
you said.
absolutely terrifying? This past Sunday, we all saw an afternoon banger between the Chicago Bears and the Washington Commanders. It was the first matchup of their NFL careers between two first-round drafted quarterbacks.
Number one and number two.
Number one and number two, Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears and Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders.
Sorry, that was not the first time I've undressed Steven.
Alrighty, let's calm that down right now.
Thanks for sharing here on air. But ladies and gentlemen, actually, Steven, I'm going to point to you because I was watching the Atlanta Hawks when the Hail Mary action went live, so I missed it live. But Steven, you witnessed it firsthand.
I did.
What went down, Mr. Lambert?
I witnessed it live. Basically, what happened is, so Jaden Daniels, they actually had a great pass right beforehand to get them within range to make a pass like that for the Hail Mary. And all of a sudden, like, Jaden Daniels had a lot of time in the pocket. I mean, were there a couple of holding calls that were missed? I don't know. It's like, you don't make a holding call in that scenario. We've said that, like, in the Super Bowl, a call like that, you know, it's there. You just don't make a call like that in that scenario. So Jaden Daniels just heaves up an insane pass, but also the Chicago player, I'm sorry his name's escaping me right now.
Stevenson.
Tyreek Stevenson was on the sideline. He was just mouthing off to the Commanders fans, just saying it's over, it's done. And then the play's going on behind him. He turns around and it's just like, oh no, what's going on? And he runs over and actually makes an incredible play, gets all the way back to the play, tips the ball up in the air. And then what happens? Noah Brown is just right there for the reception, and the Washington Commanders get a walk-off Hail Mary for the win. This is bad. This is bad for Tyreek Stevenson.
Very bad.
Very horrible look. First off, that was caught. Like literally somebody just filmed him firsthand from like him like messing with the fans all the way to tipping up that pass to be the one that actually tipped the ball up in the air.
After mocking the fans?
It's
man.
sad because, Trey Young was occupying my time, so I didn't see it live. But the thing that is crazy to me is
In the Talk to a podcast.
Stevenson allowed 4 catches for 90 yards on 9 targets. So it's not like he was even doing a shutout performance in front of those fans. He was getting mossed on the entire game. And then afterwards, Tyreek, went to the press conference and he said, the game isn't over until zeros hit the clock. Can't take anything for granted. Notes taken. Improvement will happen. But it's flat out embarrassing. And it's kind of like ironic out of all teams this happens to the Chicago Bears, who's been tormented for decades now. So, God, it was, hopefully this wakes up some eyes. But, hey, the Commanders, 6-2, top of that NFC East, they are no joke.
I do want to say I love on the Pat McAfee show, his response to this whole situation. He said if they were making a movie about a football scumbag, of course he didn't use the word scumbag, it's Pat McAfee.
Sure.
But I can't say it on air. You can fill in the blank. But he said if they were making a movie about a football scumbag, this would be the opening scene because that is the most scumbaggiest move you can do in all football. And he also explained it well. He said though he ran over to tip the ball, yes, it's great that he made contact with the ball, but Patty McAfee explained that in football, they teach you on a Hail Mary to have your hand arched, so that way if it hits it, the ball goes down. The man hits it like a volleyball. He hits it like this, prompting the ball to go backwards to a wide open Commander's receiver. So anyway, I would love to be a fly on the wall during that film room and watching the coach just absolutely crash out on stage.
Hey, you could say that he was a real party pooper.
Party pooper, beautiful.
That's my joke for the day.
Okay,
Go ahead,
dude,
Steven. It's
just insane. Like you said, like he pounds he gets the ball up into the air and it just like goes straight into Noah Brown's hands. Like first off, Noah Brown being in that exact place for that ball when it comes down is just absolutely insane. But I also want to just turn over into another thing that we were talking about earlier, and this has to do with the Yankees and Dodgers series. Yankees fans. Mookie Betts goes for a fly ball over in in foul direction in Game 4 last night. By the way, real quick, Freddie Freeman, oh my goodness, man, that's insane. We're going to talk about that later, of course, but just 6 straight World Series games with a homer is just unbelievable.
Unheard of.
Unfathomable.
Like
okay, so Mookie Betts goes for a fly ball into the foul direction. And these Yankees fans that are in the front row, Mookie makes a great catch at the wall, but Yankees fans grab his glove and rip the ball right out of his mitt, while also one of his other buddies, like there was a Yankees fans that grabbed it out of his mitt, but his other buddies like holding on to Mookie's wrist.
Yeah.
Just like, ripping the ball out of his glove. And that guy's probably banned for life.
Well, I was gonna say, so it was confirmed that he will be banned for Game 5. It did not necessarily say anything about
banned for game,
life.
bro. First off, having those tickets for having both, dude. Do you know how expensive those tickets are?
That's money he's not getting back.
He did have tickets for Game 5, but he was banned for Game 5. But we also remember, I'm not sure if we brought it up last episode. I think it happened after last episode. But remember Game 1 when the Dodgers fan reached over in all the Yankees.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of stuff going on this World
This
Series.
is the reason why people don't want to root for your teams. Like, it's not because of the players. We all like the players that are on these teams. But, dude, the fan bases are just not – that's not a good look.
And here's what's interesting to me. So, first of all, the play that Mookie Betts was trying to make in the outfield was a pop-up hit by Gleyber Torres. Well, Gleyber Torres actually got the last laugh because he hit that through-and home run to right field where Mookie Betts was to really solidify that dominant win for New York. But this isn't the first time we've seen something crazy like this go down in the World Series. Back in 2019, for the Nationals World Series, there's that whole incident of that chick, flashing herself behind home plate. So then you got this. Okay, but she got a lifetime ban from all MLB stadiums. This guy who made physical contact that really, in hindsight, could have injured Mookie Betts. To me, that deserves a lifetime ban.
For a game.
Well, here's the thing.
It deserves a lifetime ban.
So I believe their names, Austin Capibianco, I think it's probably that's the last name, and then John Peter, which is the most basic name I've ever heard.
John Peter.
Sorry, John
People
Peter.
named John, bro.
But I believe it was Austin that pried the glove open. But ESPN found them and they asked him about the whole situation. He said, "Listen, with those type of seats, me and my friend joke about it all the time. They said if a ball, we're not going to go out of our way to attack somebody, but if a ball comes our way, we're going to play defense whether you like it or not." He's like, "I don't care if we got kicked out. We helped our team." Well, he says
You didn't help your team. That was an out.
It was calling.
It was an out.
He claims that he helped the team, but didn't help the team. Gleyber Torres was called out. So it's like Yankees fans, except Daniel Carp, if you're listening, we love you.
Yeah,
but
Daniel
most
Carp,
Yankee
we love
fans,
him,
you're senseless. That makes no sense.
This is another reason why
And JT Groves.
why
JT
I-
Groves
Oh
too.
yes, JT, we love you too. Flat
Yeah.
tire.
This is another reason why I hate Yankee Stadium and how short that right field wall is, because it allows dangerous fan interaction to keep happening like that.
Hey, real quick, an interesting story that I found out about today is the fact that this guy that ripped the ball out of Mookie's glove was actually a high school friend of Rob Gronkowski.
No way.
Rob Gronkowski was on a show earlier today talking about how, oh man, like you got to understand that's just this guy. That's who he is. Yeah. He's just a crazy guy. Like apparently he was on a hockey team back in high school. That he was just a very insane type of just
Aggressive
crazy
guy.
animal type of guy. I mean, to be friends with Rob Gronkowski, that makes
You got
sense.
to.
It's insane. He was talking about how he's he roots for his teams. Like he is a die-hard, but dude, there's die-hard and then there's just insanity. Insane, probably psychopathic behaviors that should probably get you in a straitjacket. But it's just an insane story.
You're right, Steven. I respect the fan dedication, but that's a little psychotic. But ladies and gentlemen, it's the day before Halloween, so it's time to get into the scariest twin picks in sports out of pocket history.
Two brothers,
Same birthday.
completely different takes.
Oh, boy! Yes!
It's time for twin picks.
Just to let you know, as y'all know the rules, 4 minutes per person. 4 minutes per person, then 2 minutes for deliberation.
We've been doing great. I don't know why you're looking at it like that, like we haven't been listening to the criteria. But for those who don't know, yeah, boy, party pooper Jeff over here, up 2-0 in the series. And if you can't do math, which, I hope y'all guys can, but if you can't, that means if I solidify the win right here, right now, on this spooky October night,
Should be 1-1.
then I will solidify myself as the king of twin picks for season 4.
Well,
But
Thank you, the Christmas poop. We'll be right back. But Chase Jefferson is here to make my comeback on twin picks. Now, we are going to introduce a topic here. Guys, like I said, it's the day before Halloween, so we got to keep it Halloween themed, but also sports related. So me and the party people got together and we decided, who do we think out of the two players we're going to discuss is the most feared NFL defensive player out of the two? Who do y'all think was the most feared? And we have reasons and explanations to back it up. But Andrew, I believe you let me go first this time. So you, Mr. Andrew, you are on the clock. Who do you think was the most feared on the NFL defensive side of the field?
ladies and gentlemen, as we gather on the spine-chilling night,
It ain't Stevenson's, by the way.
let's turn our attention to a figure whose presence on the field could send shivers down the spines of even the toughest opponents.
Is this scripted?
Jack Youngblood. When we think of Halloween, we conjure images of the terrifying, the relentless, and the downright fearsome. And in the realm of the NFL, few have embodied the spirit quite like Youngblood. Picture this, as you dim your lights and light that fire inside your basement. Pass rusher, lurking like a ghost in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Youngblood was not just any player. He was a relentless force, a storm that disrupted opposing offenses with its incredible speed and strength. Quarterbacks trembled at the thought of facing him, knowing that the specter of his aggressive pursuit loomed over every snap. He was a nightmare come to life, unpredictable and merciless. Now, let's dive deeper into the haunting legacy of Jack Youngblood. Imagine the scene, okay? Imagine this. Close your eyes and imagine this.
I'm not
the
closing my eyes.
playoffs, the tension thick in the air, and Youngblood takes the field with a fractured fibula. This is based on a true story. This wasn't an injury. It was a testament of his toughness, a chilling reminder that fear would not keep him from the battle. As he limped onto the field, you can almost hear the collective gasp of the opposing team. This man, willing to risk everything, was a force of nature they could not ignore. His unwavering determination transformed him into a legend, a specter that haunted quarterbacks long after the game was over. Youngblood's playing style was intense, a whirlwind of physicality and aggression that left opponents quaking like Quaker oats. Each hit he delivered was like the crack of thunder, boom, reverberating through the stadium and installing fear in the hearts of those who dare to face him. His very presence was a warning. Play with caution, for he would not hold back. But it wasn't just his physical prowess that made him terrifying. No. It was his leadership, a true gladiator of the gridiron. Youngblood commanded respect. He inspired his teammates. He intensely, in fearlessness, created a culture of toughness that echoed through the locker room and onto the field. He wasn't just a player. He was a captain of the ship that sailed through the NFL, rallying his team to face whatever horrors lied their way. So, as we revel in the night of frights and fears, let us remind ourselves, Jack Youngblood, not just a player, but as a specter of terror that roamed the NFL. His legacy is one that still stands and chills down the spine of any quarterback daring to step into the pocket. In the haunted halls of football history, ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt that Youngblood stands tall as the most feared player of all time. I mean, it's in his freaking name. Jack Youngblood? Like, what's up, Youngblood? No, nobody was saying that back in his day. He started the Youngblood trend, ladies and gentlemen. And if that doesn't make y'all sweat inside your pants, like I'm sweating inside of mine right now, because of the suit, guys, calm down, then you should all know that Jack Youngblood's name shall not be forgotten. Gotcha. I thought that was a great delivery. I don't want to get brownie points, but I figured the delivery should be added to the contest.
That was truly insane, man. Like, my fear level is a 10 right now.
It should be an 11.
You think Youngblood is a scary name? Well, I can tell you about a good old 1950 horror tale in the NFL line who did things 1950.
What is happening,
he
bro?
did things.
I didn't know the topic before this.
Bro, all right.
We're talking about all the time.
You guys know the name. You guys
know the name. He did things that nobody even imagined. And even if you don't know who he is, while I explain, how about you watch some of his scariest hits of all time?
Visual.
This is
This
Dick.
is cheating.
This is Dick.
It's not-
Night Train Lane, baby.
Night Train Lane.
Y'all have fun watching this. Well, this is in the 1950s.
It's black and white.
Look, watch this right here. Well, hang on, ready? Watch this. Boom!
That's
right
roughing the passer. Roughing
That's
the
what
passer.
we do. Now listen, let me tell you a little bit about Dick, Night Lane Train's childhood. Did you know that when he was a child, his mother threw him away in a trash bin? Y'all heard me correct. A woman found him in a trash bin as an infant and took care of him. That is already the scariest start to a childhood. Did you know all the way up until junior college he didn't play a lick of football, and all he did was play two-hand touch with his friends in the backyard until he
That's
joined.
pansy. That sounds like a pansy.
No, listen.
No tackle football?
Until he joined the Navy and at the age of 24. Well, in the backyard, he played tackle football. And in fact, he hit his his Army mates. I said the Navy. He was part of the Army. But he hit his U.S. Army mates so hard that they said, buddy, you should be playing football. Like, this is ridiculous. So he was like, that's a great idea. So when he came back from the U.S. Army, he marched into the Lions front office, showed him some tapes of him playing backyard football, and they signed him immediately because how hard he could hit. And he started his rookie year. Now you think, he's never played football before. He's not going to hop into the professional league and, just light the lamps right away. Do y'all know who Herb Rich is?
It's the 50s.
At the time, in the 50s, he led the NFL.
Wait, who?
Herb Rich.
No one knows who that is.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Herb Rich. He led the NFL in interceptions all the way up until 1952, which was Dick Lane's rookie season, and he broke his record in 8 games as a rookie.
Wasn't passing and Vidin in like the 40s?
Look, listen, it doesn't matter. Listen, I understand the game's different, but he was doing things that was generational. He was doing things nobody knew before. And in fact, it got so bad that during the opposing team's meetings, the coach said, I don't care who our best receiver is, do not throw to Dick Lane because how many times he intercepted the ball. In fact, they say that he created the term baiting in the NFL because he came up with a philosophy of looking away from the quarterback, wait for him to look the receiver's way, then hopping from the ball, which is why he racked up so many interceptions. And y'all saw the highlight tape. I mean, nobody wants
It
to
was black and white.
Exactly. That's how you know this is generational. He is the reason we used to see hits like we did today. Dick Night Train Lane.
You know what, Steven, since you weren't on the last Twin Picks, I'll let you go first.
Youngblood.
Man, I'll be honest, this is out of my realm of knowledge here. Like, I thought when we were doing, like, the most feared defensive players, I thought it was, like, current day.
Oh, no. This is all time.
And so I'm just going to go based off of presentation here. Presentation going off of you just, like, the amount of passion that you guys put into your speech, put into your arguments. And I'll be honest, the visual representation got me. The thing about him being in the 1950s is that, yeah, you're right, generational. Man. I mean, the hits that I was seeing right there, that's the type of stuff that, like,
Did you see how slowly they were running?
Your player in the 1970s probably took a lot of his playing style from.
Exactly. He did it first, buddy. Night Train did it before Youngblood.
So that's just where my mind process is at, so my vote goes to Chase.
I think that take
Patrick deserves to be in the toilet that I'm sitting on.
You're not, Patrick, you're not as stupid as people say you are.
Thank you. So, as we know, that Steven wasn't on the last Twin Picks, and if he was on the last Twin Picks, Chase would have gotten the point. I have my opinion. I do know who Jack Youngblood is. My dad was a big fan of Jack Youngblood growing up.
Your dad's a very smart man.
You have to know who Dick Lane is.
I know Nitro Lane.
Thank you.
And speaking of Halloween time, if y'all ever played Madden Ultimate Team and the spooky Halloween cards, I had a guy on my team. He was nasty. He changed the game. I like the visual representation too. I like Night Train Lane, bro.
Night Train Lane in this season out of pocket, baby.
Because you pulled a black and white VHS tape out of your
Mickey
pocket.
from Wish, you know ball.
Yeah, I like Night Train Lane. Night Train Lane, and especially that he created the influence of baiting.
He was found in a trash can. His mother threw him away after getting
I love the story,
and Buddy ended up being an
hustle,
NFL
bro.
great. That is insane.
That's heart and hustle.
Not all trash can babies become hard hitters.
Hey, you know, just for the fun of it, Christian, who would you have chosen?
Night Train Lane or Youngblood?
That's a sweet
That's
baby.
a sweet baby.
Even John, even Brandon, everybody in the control room also says Night Train Lane.
Buddy, pull up your pants because they are a much of show, baby.
Here we go again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, while Andrew fixes his mic, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com for a nice little song break, and we will be right back for part 2 of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York, and you're listening to my dudes from the Sports Out of Pocket on the Wolf Sports Network.
What is going on, everybody? Again, this is not just silence you're hearing. Happy Halloween, trick or treat. Go to wolfsportsnetwork.com if you want to listen to Monster Mash by Bobby Pickett. And right after that, we're going to be going into some fantasy football. Some scary things happen this weekend, so stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute and 20 seconds.
It's college football time. And you know what that means. Crazy things happen.
There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Don't miss Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on a Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Listen to me now. Kirk Cousins is more valuable in fantasy than Jalen Hurts.
What are you talking about? You are dead wrong. It's time for some fantasy football.
Howdy ho, everybody. Welcome back, Hanky, the Christmas Pooh. We are here to talk about how our fantasy football teams performed, and also there was a trade that went down the other day between Mr. Party Pooper and Mr. Gavin Ellis. Now, usually I open up the fantasy segment talking about my team, but I'm going to switch it up. I'm actually going to go Jackson. You are 8.
Man.
Hold on! Let me.
Steven, you open up.
No! Let me, please, Steven.
Do your thing, but all right, calm yourself.
Just to let you know, Christian, I'm standing up. 8-0. Without Mike Evans, without Nico, I have Jordan Addison McConkey. Thinking, I'm not going to win this week. My 7-0 record's going to end up. But Andrew, first of all, I'd like to shake your hand. GG's, buddy.
It was a very
frustrating. And I also like to
week.
thank the Steelers defense and Danny Dimes.
Yes, because Daniel Jones is the only reason you beat me, by the way.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, so let me say
down.
my side of it, because this is what went down, because that was a little too vague. So Jackson's over here complaining about injuries, okay? But he doesn't know that he's not the only one in this league. That pretty much everybody has had at least one deafening injury. I know I have. I know Chase has. Christian just got tormented last week by injuries, and I'm over here. Chris Godwin, my best player aside from Alvin Kamara, out for the year. Now this has nothing to do with me and Jackson's matchup, because this happened as of this past Sunday. But Stephon Diggs is now out for the year with a torn ACL, and he was my next number one. And that explains the trade that I made with Gavin that I'll go over here in a minute. But about me and Jackson's matchup, I was 5-2 going into that on a nice little win streak. Jackson
is 7-0.
7-0, but he has proven himself to be beatable, and that's because of our matchup that just went down this past week. So a trade that I made the week prior, I got CJ Stroud ahead for Jordan Love, kind of just so Christian could handcuff him with Jalen Reed. I could handcuff mine with Stephon Diggs, which is now pointless, but that's beside the fact. Stroud only gave me 12 points. Jackson had Sam Darnold, gave him 18. So the quarterback was a little lopsided. Going up and down the list, when we look at me and Jackson's flex pieces, very, very similar. Aside from He had Nick Chubb, who gave him 5. DeAndre Hopkins gave me 4. And then both of our next flex pieces got us 0. Because Gabe Davis left the game after 2 plays. 2 plays, he got injured, never seen again. I'm not really sure what happened to Jackson's player, but that's besides the point. Both of our defenses did pretty good. Like he said, Pittsburgh's defense. Let's talk about that Monday Night Football game. Because going into that game, I had a 3-point lead. Jackson, all he had left was the Steelers defense. Me, I had Wan'Dale Robinson. So I was projected to win. I had like a 75% chance to win because Wan'Dale...
Actually, you had an 86.
Because Wan'Dale was getting close to 20 in 2 straight weeks, even with Malik Neighbors on the field. But as the clock wound down, Daniel Jones had the ball left, down by 8, needing to get in the end zone with less than a minute left. What was the matchup looking like? I was up by 0.6, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about a 0.6 difference.
A reception makes a difference.
Yes, because the possession before, J.J. Watt sacked Daniel Jones. He got the ball stripped from him, and that gave Jackson the lead. Then Wan'Dale Robinson got a 15-yard reception, put me up by 0.6. So here's the situation. Daniel Jones at the 40-yard line in Pittsburgh territory. 30 seconds left. All I needed was to pray that a sack or a turnover did not occur. I didn't even care if the Giants win. I just need to avoid a turnover. Okay? Malik Neighbors, a little 10-yard curl route. Loses the corner. Sitting there, wide open, more open than being wide open. I don't know where I was going with that. But the point is, Daniel Jones overthrew him, not by an inch.
Oh, by 5
by
yards.
the size of Mr. Hanky right over there, and intercepted. Down goes my team. Jackson freaking 8-0. So what did I do about Stephon Diggs? Me and Gavin conjured up a trade. I sent his way Josh Jacobs, who's been very productive in these last few weeks. And in return, I got DJ Moore, who I was desperate for, because Gabe Davis would have been my wide receiver 1 if I didn't get DJ Moore. And then on top of that, I got Rico Dowell, who may be splitting reps with Dalvin Cook now, but he still averages about 10 points a game, which is going to last me since I have Alvin Kamara. But Steven, what happened to your team this week?
All right, so I was able to get the win over Gavin this week. It was a good matchup. Gavin, here's the thing about my win though, it's kind of cheap. Because in the game of that night, it was the 49ers versus the Cowboys. I had George Kittle going, and he would have had Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle got scratched last minute, just out of nowhere. It was an illness, and so he had nobody going, and I had George Kittle going. So it literally split our matchup. Like, it was literally like 52-48 going into that game, and then as soon as Rico Dowdle got scratched, I mean, all George Kittle had to do was score 6 points, and George Kittle's going to get 6 points, man.
Yes.
And that ended up happening, and I was able to get the win, thank goodness, because that puts me right back at 500. I'm 4-4. I need to get the win next week, and I'm going up against you. Here's the thing about our matchup. Very interesting. Your main receiver, Stephon Diggs, out for the season. That sucks. I'm sorry.
It does suck.
But it also helps me out because I have Tank Dell. And Tank Dell now in that Texans offense becomes the number 1 receiver. In fact, he becomes, besides Dalton Schultz, becomes one of the only targets that C.J. Stroud has to throw to.
You're right.
Now, is that going to happen? I don't know, because every time I say these types of things on this show, I mean, that next week Tank Dell might have 1 reception for about 12 yards, and then I'm just back to going, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
But I also have C.J. Stroud at my quarterback. So is that really? So if it's like a red zone touchdown, though receivers get more points for it. It wouldn't widen the gap as much as you may think.
I'm not worried about the quarterback matchup this week because, listen,
Captain Kirk.
I hope the camera's on me, right?
Bro.
Kirk, please. I know you watch this show. I know you're a big fan of Sports Out of Pocket.
Sure.
You're going up against the Dallas Cowboys this week.
We saw what they
Every
did.
time I put you on my bench, I've done it twice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I did not think you were going to have the same game you had in Atlanta in Tampa Bay. But of course, joke's on me. You had the same type of game, and you were named Player of the Week this year. You had an incredible game. Just could you do that when I have you in the starting lineup? I appreciate that.
Go Dirty Birds.
You got the Dallas Cowboys this week. They're one of the worst defenses in the league. They've been terrible. The Detroit Lions put up 50 on them. 49ers had all day to throw the football against them. Kirk, this is your time to feast. I'm putting you in the lineup. I'm putting my trust in you this week. I need 25. Please give me 25 this week, and we'll call it square.
Which sucks for me, because as a big Falcons fan, I'm going to be rooting for Captain Kirk. So it's going to kind of be a little win-lose situation for me. But
I'm just saying. I just wanted to say, Steven, do you want DeAndre Swift?
No.
He averages
Jackson,
8. He's put up 18 plus for the past 4 weeks.
Jackson,
the past 4 games he's played.
Jackson, Listen to Hanky.
I was going to do Javonte Williams and Michael Pittman for
listen to Hanky.
DeAndre Swift.
Your trades are a load of poo. Anyways, fellas, let's talk about mine and Brendan's matchup this previous week. Now, listen, the week before, I had a rough loss to Schrader because Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry had the game of their life. So I fell to 3-4, and I needed a big win against the defending champ, Mr. Brendan Willoughby Ray. And that game was tight the entire way until it got to Sunday night. Until it got to, that Sunday night football game. Between the Cowboys and the
49ers.
49ers. Yeah, I couldn't remember who 49ers played until it got.
You had poo brain. I get you.
Yeah, you know. Stupid. Anyways,
mustard or ketchup?
Ooh. But yeah, the Cowboys and 49ers. I believe, I was favored by 0.7 heading to that game if memory serves me correct. I had CeeDee Lamb and Brennan had Mason, the 49ers running back. CeeDee Lamb dropped me 40 points, which bolstered my win, and I ended up winning by a whopping score of 182 to 149. Also, Bo Nix, thank you for solidifying yourself as my star quarterback. Dak Prescott, you're never touching my star lap again. Boys, I felt so good. I feel like I hit the lottery.
I was going to say very quick, I was going to ask y'all how y'all feel about your matchups heading into this week.
Well, after Andrew made that trade, it's going to be closer than I thought because I didn't think he was going to make a trade after the Stephon Diggs injury.
I had to.
So it's going to be interesting. DJ Moore, I don't know. He's been very inconsistent this year. Like last week, I actually played him on when Gavin had him, and DJ Moore only put up 6 points.
Steven, you're projected by 4.2, so it's going to be tight.
It's very interesting. Well, I have George Kittle off this week, so I have to put in TJ Conklin for the Jets, and I mean he's been putting up the numbers this year, so we'll see. If I could get 11 from him this week, that'd be fantastic. So it's going to be a close matchup. I don't know. I hope I can pull this out because then I get 5-4, and
Only
then
time will tell.
And then I have a shot at the playoffs.
Well, fellas, let's get into some lottery.
With the first pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select.
This is the lottery.
All right, fellas, welcome to the lottery segment. Just a quick reminder, we're going to talk about some players, some teams that we are either high on or we are low on. And fellas, I want to open this segment up. I will make it quick. I just want to solely stress my point that as someone I am extremely low on. And as us Falcons fans, we hate this name. It makes us cringe. It crawls down our spine. And that is the head coach of the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton. And now we know how blankety blank Sean Payton is.
He's terrible. He's a terrible head coach.
Not only is he an overrated head coach, yes, I said overrated, but his tactics and his motives, they're just terrible. He is a terrible, terrible human being. And I want to point out an instance that happened this previous game, this Sunday, the Broncos game. It was late in the game. I don't know if you saw it. The Broncos were up big. They set up a pass to Cortland Sutton right at the goal line where he got hit and he fumbled the ball. And then, as Cortland Sutton, he's frustrated. He fumbled the ball right at the goal line, which, by the way, like I said, they were up big. There was no reason the Broncos should have been throwing the ball in the first place. But as Cortland Sutton's walking to the sideline with his head down, Sean Payton looks at him and it goes, "You are too old to be playing football."
Crazy.
What business does Sean Payton have to tell an NFL player who's been in the league for years that he is too old to be playing football? Yes, I mean, it was a hard hit. It's not like he fumbled a stupid ball. He got hit pretty hard. He fumbled the ball right at the goal line. But first of all, why are you throwing the ball up by that much in the first place? That is a terrible, not only is it showing too much pride in yourself, and it's just disrespectful to the opposing team. So not only is that a questionable and ridiculous call by the head coach, but you're not going to put the blame on yourself. You're going to put the blame on one of your own players and tell him he's too old to be playing the game. Sean Payton, you are extremely overrated. I am down on you, and you deserve to be fired. Broncos fans, you deserve better.
Yeah,
you deserve better.
I've said my piece on Sean Payton when it comes to how I think of him as like a coach in his career. I believe that the Saints, the reason that they won their Super Bowls, it ain't because of Sean Payton's coaching, it's because of just how good Drew Brees was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that team in general. That offense was incredible. Sean Payton, like in my opinion, he's trying to go like a Nick Saban route. Nick Saban would sit there and yell at his players and like tell his, like it on borderline insult his players to get them fired up and want them to do better, right?
Yes.
Difference between Nick Saban and Sean Payton, Nick Saban actually has respect from his players.
Right.
If I'm playing for the Broncos and Sean Payton's sitting there telling me that I'm old or that I suck, I just have to, I got to be honest, I'd laugh. I'm not going to sit there and be motivated by you just because like you're going to sit there and yell at me and like you're devaluing your players, and it doesn't make them want to perform for you. It just makes them want to leave, just like Russell Wilson did, and look what he's doing in Pittsburgh.
And by the way, I'm joking.
Thank you for saying that.
I'm not Hanky the Christmas poo. I'm Sean Payton. That's who I am for Halloween.
That's very, very accurate. But Steven, you hit it right. I mean, you said it right. How do you think that transition from Russell Wilson feels going from a guy like Sean Payton to a guy like Mike Tomlin, who has never had a losing record in his NFL tenure? And yeah, I hate Sean Payton. My opinion's never going to change about him. I mean, we obviously know how deep rooted this Falcons rivalry is with Sean Payton. Speaking of Sean Payton, the Falcons actually visit Denver in 2 weeks, so that's going to be very intriguing to match back up with Sean Payton. But Jackson, do you want to go next?
Oh, for a lottery?
If you have one.
I do have a lottery.
Okay.
I want to switch over to a guy. I love how you were talking about 2010s NFL. This guy did fantastic for his team in the 2010s NFL, and he was recently now put as starter. Joe Flacco.
Ooh.
I'm super high on Joe Flacco.
I like it.
I'm looking at his stats right now, bro. 716 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Joe Flacco, if y'all remember last season and were paying attention to the NFL last season, he was the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
Helped lead that Cleveland Browns team to a playoff berth. Ended up losing to like the Texans. But still, the Flacco Magic, he's 39 years old. He's been around the league. He's a veteran presence. Anthony Richardson, somebody I am low on. We saw, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously. But
everybody would be.
We saw what his stat line was. It was like 10 for 26. And that's like me when it comes to like y'all have all played against me in Madden. I suck at Madden.
And
John has played me in Madden. Christian has played me in Madden. That's like me stats. I'm like, dude, we saw glimpses of Anthony Richardson last season. He did fantastic before he got injured. And then
even in week 1 when he made that incredible throw down the field. But that's not even his stat line's not my biggest concern of why I'm low on Anthony Richardson. Yeah. It's the fact that he checked himself out of the game when he was needed the most because he was tired. Wow. This is the NFL. No one cares how you feel inside your pads. Yeah. People care how you express yourself on the outside.
I said this on this past Monday because I was a guest on Sports Pack. By the way, tune into that show. It's an incredible show.
Tomorrow.
I talked about how the Colts are a better team with Joe Flacco behind the helm.
Absolutely.
Joe Flacco, and I said this past Monday, but do you think Joe Flacco's ever going to sit there and check out of a game because he's tired? I don't care if he's 45.
No.
Joe Flacco's the type of guy that'll sit there. By the way, tell Matthew Stafford that. Are we just going to forget what Matthew Stafford did with a dislocated shoulder or a broken arm?
And he
threw a touchdown. Tired is a lame excuse. Joe Flacco in the 2012-2013 playoffs, when he led that Ravens team to a Super Bowl, he was playing with a calf injury. And Anthony Richardson has the balls to say, hey, I want out this game. I am tired.
You have to hit the bench, man. We have to sit there and reevaluate.
Hey, get out of here,
I mean,
bro.
there's a bunch of quarterbacks.
That's
around
not
the league.
Florida energy, bro.
There's a bunch of quarterbacks around the league that are dealing with situations like that. Here's a fun fact about Jameis Winston, if y'all didn't know. But he can't see without his glasses, and he plays without contacts. So he plays quarterback with blurry vision. And not only did he win the Heisman in the National Championship 2013, he just currently led the Cleveland Browns against a miraculous win against their division opponents, the Baltimore Ravens. So Richardson, that is a lame excuse, but to your point, Jackson, Joe Flacco's a winning quarterback everywhere he goes. The Baltimore Ravens. Remember when he played for the Jets a couple years ago, had some playing time, and he won with a horrible team around him. And he did the same thing.
Name one receiver on that Jets team. We've had this conversation multiple times this season.
God, goodness.
Exactly. I mean, he takes the situation around him, and with his veteran experience, he's a leader and he's a winning quarterback.
Hey, and Sean Payton, is Joe Flacco too old to be playing in the NFL, buddy? No, I don't think so.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, to your point, Andrew, Sean Payton, we all know him. He is psycho, baby. And speaking of psycho, we're going to go listen to Psycho to a quick little song break. And Ken, tune to WolfSportsCenter.com to listen to some tunes, and we'll be back for some Fire Me Up.
This is the Philly Sports Guy, and you're listening to Sports Out of Pocket on Wolf Sports Network.
What is going on, everybody that is listening on YouTube? If you want to listen to this music that we are currently dancing to and having fun listening to, it's going to be on wolfsportsnetwork.com. Remember, we are a radio station first, so if you want to listen to some awesome music, tune in over there. But hey, man, we'll be right back, and we're gonna be getting fired up. So you are not gonna want to miss that. So please stay tuned.
Voice is in the airwaves on Sports Pack and is bringing some interesting takes.
I don't think we need to trade anyone. Actually, hold on, let me back that up. I think we need to trade Trae Young.
Keep those two guys one more year for Jared Stidham and O'Connell.
The Denver Broncos select Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
Look, it didn't work out, but you can tune in Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
Fire me up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had to throw Hanky the Christmas poop aside because we have something serious to going down for this Fire Me Out segment. Now listen, if you're not in tune to Division II football, more specifically West Georgia football. Hey, we're Division I now.
We're D1 now, man.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm sorry. I'm still getting used to it. I'm sorry. That was disrespectful.
Disrespect.
I'm sorry.
There's a little bit of Hanky still on you, buddy.
You know what, Hanky? Get off me, Hanky.
God, man. Okay, Chase is back. Division I football. Now listen, West Georgia is a new D1 school. However, we are playing a team this upcoming Saturday, hosting a team here in Carrollton football. Matter of fact, we can only host this team. This is the Lincoln Oaklanders of California.
Oaklanders?
That's their team name. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Neither has anybody
exist.
else.
It's
a scary matchup. You know, we're bringing a ghost to Carrollton, everybody. Supposedly,
Hey,
now
it sounds like a team that was made up by ChatGPT when you're writing those stories.
Jackson,
The
it might as well be.
Oaklanders.
It might as well
It
be.
might as well.
You
Like,
wouldn't know.
seriously, what?
So, shout out to our former sports director, Brendan Wilby-Ray, for sending in a USA Today article about this team. Now, before we get fired up, I'm going to lay a little background on this team from this article. Credit to USA Today. Please sponsor us if you don't mind. And so we can lay the
Everyone's
foundation
their
of how bad this situation is. People claim this is actually the Bishop Sycamore of college football. They don't belong to the NCAA. Matter of fact, they don't belong to any conference or division. They have no home stadium. They have no weight room. Now listen to this. This is insane that they're letting these teams play. So they do practices without any certified athletic trainer. They have inadequate equipment. Players that are on food stamps, living on food stamps at a university, making them live on food stamps, unexpected financial commitments, a scarcity of water at practice, and overcrowded housing that lets players sleeping in living rooms and, in at least one case, sleeping in the hotel's diner because they had no money to afford a place to stay. Now, if you want to know a little history about Lincoln, so prior to COVID, they're a business school, by the way. Do you know how big their campus is? I know. How big is it? One building. Their campus is one building. It was a business school. Now, but prior to COVID, they had no sports programs. But then after COVID hit, their enrollment went down and they started losing money. So the president of the university said the only way to bring players to enroll was to make a football team so they could get outside players near the area to come in and play football. Now, they played every game on the road. They're about a 4-year school. I think this is their 4th year in program history. They play every game on the road because they have no home stadium, and they schedule D1 schools because they pay them to come play. So now there's an investigation going on that the athletic director is using players to go out and get killed on the field just to get
There's like
money.
3 analogies I can make to this. All-American, you also remember, what's it called? Have y'all ever seen the movie Rejected or Accepted?
No, but I know what you're talking about. I do.
Where they make up a fake school and then like a bunch of people just start coming in. It sounds like that. Honestly, if we lose this, we might as well withdraw from the NCAA.
Listen. I'm sorry. I made this analogy earlier. You better just call University of West Georgia John Wilkes Booth because Lincoln's gonna get murdered.
Yeah, Lee, hey, that's out of pocket.
Every Wednesday at 5, only on Wolf Sports Network.
We can't get penalized for doing gun funerals, by the way. But we won't do that. But I will say, Chase, I want to make this very clear. We're not bashing the university for saying this. What we are bashing, though, is what Chase said. Is the reality that they are scheduling only Division I competition to go out there, risk their players' health because there is no proper facility training to help manage and help regenerate players if they go down with an injury, because they're playing guys who are more experienced, who are bigger, who are faster, who are stronger. But they're all doing it to grab in cash to expand their own university. They don't care about the players' future. They know the players aren't going pro. They know they're not getting transferred out of Lincoln. They're using players to send money to the campus.
Or are they?
Now, or are they? That's what I was going to say. It's under investigation because the head coach did speak out. And what was the...
This is just rumors, by the way. Nothing is confirmed.
Yeah, nothing's confirmed. We're just speculating. But what was the Chinese proverb that he was... This is the funniest thing I've ever heard. So it was actually the university president, Malachi Brodsky. So brought to you by Gavin. USA Today Sports came by and asked the president about this whole situation. And they basically asked him, Mr. President, are you using these players to go out here, play Division I teams just to get killed and lose for money, for the sake of your school, not for the sake of these players' football program, for the sake of your school? And this is what he said. He said, you know this Chinese proverb? If you're riding on a tiger, you cannot stop. You stop, the tiger eats you. We're riding a tiger, it's true, but we cannot stop or we will get eaten.
What the heck did I just hear in my ears?
It's not even me.
That sounds like something out of a fortune cookie.
Brought to you by Gavin. Gavin, if you're listening, type
No.
Type
That's
in the chat and
something that if I
translate, 'cause we
read
don't
in a
understand.
fortune cookie, I'd have to just like give a call to the company that just gave me that because I'm
This
just
sounds
like,
like something
bro,
you put on a
who
Laffy
wrote
Taffy
this?
Laffy Taffy rapper. I can't even say it.
Crazy, but it's crazy that like, and that to me that adds to the speculation. Why are you pulling up Chinese proverbs to answer your own questions? Like, just tell us. I mean, what's your motive here? I mean, because if you're trying to like give these players an opportunity to be recognized on national television, sure, I understand that. But if you also want to add wins to your program and get your branding more expanded, then why not, schedule teams on your level?
Now,
why is it only Division I competition? That's where the speculation
I'm
comes
gonna
from.
make this very clear. This is not me saying this.
Yeah.
This is the allegations. But people are speculating.
We're citing our sources.
The president is Russian. And people are exclaiming that his Russian native has something to do with this. I'm not saying this. This is the
I'm not
allegations.
gonna get into that one,
This
brother.
is the allegations. But I'm just expressing the intensity of the situation. And they're coming to Carrollton.
That's too far.
Well, that's what's so crazy is like when I found out that I didn't realize that Lincoln University was from Oakland, California. So they're sending these college students, the ones that, they just want to go and they want to get their education and they like the game of football. Well, there's liking the game of football, and then there's getting sent every single week to play Division I competition, guys that are just built for this type of atmosphere, and then just getting absolutely walked on every single week. Yeah. I mean, there was I read the article, and there were players that were talking about the absolute. They called it hell. Yeah. That's what they did. they called it hell. They called it terrible. It was just absolutely horrible every single time that they walked on the football field. I mean, the practices were terrible. Like you said, there was water scarcity. It was just absolutely unbearable for the players that went to that university.
Their former long snapper even said that it felt like we're sacrificial lambs, going out there sacrificing our bodies against these players who are bigger, more physical, just to bring money to the school.
And this is what we're saying, because we don't want to make it sound like that we're using our platform to bash this university.
Because
we have much respect for them coming down to our campus and play West Georgia. But when you have your own players coming out to news articles and saying that draws some concern that we are allowed to talk about.
It's also drawing concern that, like, in press conferences, we're not even like there's not even enough information for the other teams to give like a scouting report on, because there's just nothing to say. There's nothing to say about this university. They're literally just sitting out here to get beaten by. We should listen. West Georgia, come out this weekend. Just y'all win. If y'all lose,
entering the Wolves' den.
come out to listen. They're coming into the Wolves' den. I know that they're going through it, and it's a tough time for them. But they need to come into these Wolves' den, and the Wolves need to put up 60 points this weekend.
They need to make a statement.
Oaklanders, more like Oak Planters. Putting them on the ground.
And that being said, it's time to end the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was a very good episode, Jackson. I don't know what you just said. Thanks for pulling it to a terrible note, by the way. But no, in all seriousness, guys, thank you for listening to episode 9 of Sports Out of Pocket. It is Halloween tomorrow. Be sure to go dress up, have fun, check your candy. You know what people are pulling these
parents.
days.
Let your kids eat as much candy as they want. Don't worry about cavities. This is the week to sit there and have a sugar rush. Let's have some fun. Let's have fun.
Kids have some
Be
fun,
safe,
man.
but have fun.
And make sure to vote in our costume contest tomorrow. I don't know what time it is. There will be more details given out on Sports Pack. But make sure to vote Max Goof.
And tune in to Sports Pack tomorrow, because they're going to be airing on Halloween, and it's going to be very, very spooky.
So, guys, I hope we didn't scare you too much. Thank you for tuning in. For Chase, Steven, Andrew, Jackson, we will see you on the next episode. Happy Halloween. Be safe.